Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are here today to talk about our latest offering, Cortland Med Center. I'm Matt McKnight, joined with my partner Luke Himanover. So yeah, we got a new deal. We've kind of been sifting through deals throughout the year, a good probably over a dozen. None of them have kind of met our threshold for what we're looking for in our investors, and this one definitely checks all the boxes. So let's get right into it. This one's in Houston. This will be our fifth property that we are involved with in the Houston area. And like I said, this is in the medical center area of Houston. This particular asset is a 2003 vintage, 344 units. The medical center area, for those of y'all who aren't familiar with Houston, it's a bustling, obviously, medical area. We've got 326,000 jobs within a 5-mile radius there, nearly 1 million jobs if you push that all the way out 10 miles. And the Texas Medical Center alone, it's actually the largest life science center in the world. So the TMC alone has over 100,000 jobs. So we're talking about a huge saturation of employment that we'd be smack dab in the middle of. Also, the majority of the land that's occupied by TMC right around this area, TMC's got pretty much all that real estate. There's not going to be a lot of new supply coming up, so we love that. And in this little sphere that we're looking at, they have over 3 billion already lined up in new investment that's underway in the area. So that 3 billion projected to create over 40,000 new jobs. Coupled with the lead sponsor we'd be working with is going to be trying to get that tax abatement designation. We've done that with them before, and that's going to be a huge element to this deal. Why we love the returns and the numbers that we're seeing. Luke, talk a little bit about the deal, how we were able to secure the deal, and some of the complexities for why we were able to get across the finish line.
No question. Little background on this deal is that it dates back to September of last year when our lead sponsor, Lone Star Capital, started to create interest. 4 offers soon followed over a period of time, and none of which really met the needs of the seller. But after some stress from the equity that was involved in the deal, again, this is a REIT that we will be unraveling. The seller was encouraged and sort of stressed and forced to sell. They wanted to get out. As a result, us as the buyers, we were able to come in at a more favorable discounted purchase price, and the number is $50 million versus what the property was marketed at. That's a captivating, I would say, discount. And so subsequently, the returns look greater. The going in cap rate is right at about 7.16%. And if you think back not long ago, cap rates for trades that were happening in Houston, every bit of 5 or lower in 2022. Now, in a different debt market like it is right now, those have subtly changed. But I think what's important to note is we're getting this for a nice $145,000 per unit. There's a very light construction cost and CapEx budget that is in place because it is as new as it is. The previous owners put in roughly $6-7 million worth of renovation into the product. It is beautifully put together, what you would probably chalk up to a B+ or A- asset, but it's well hedged. It's large in size. We talked about $50 million purchase price, but specifically the debt is also appealing. 75% loan to cost debt. We have 1 year of interest only. We have 5-year term, and the defeasance on this is such that after 5 years, there's no prepayment penalty. It is 6% interest rate. It is enticing also to know that, knowing what we know from the Fed, that in September, we anticipate a drop in interest rates. So the preliminary says 6%. The hope and prayer is that that might in fact be a little lower. at closing. Let's talk about the REIT structure, though. I think what's really important here and what you're going to eventually learn in diving into the slide deck is that this is really makes for a smaller buyer pool. So there's a lot of complexity, a lot of attorneys at play here. What we have on our side is a well-oiled group of attorneys that are part of the lead sponsorship. And subsequently, in going and negotiating with the eventual seller, they felt good, number one, because Lone Star Capital has already purchased from this seller before, but that also there was a certainty of close because of how tightened and buttoned up our attorney's team is. And so with that, we have Cortland Med Center. We think it is an outstanding deal. We think you should take a very long look at this. And what you're going to find in this brief highlight video that will follow is a nice showcase of the property. You'll be able to put your eyes on the various elements, some drone footage, the various amenities that are a part of this property, and get a feel for what the culture is like there, and something that you yourself likely wouldn't even have any issues living at, let alone really capable workforce housing. Closing for this property is scheduled in late September. Funding is live right now. And so we encourage you that if you are in fact capable, liquid, and very interested in this, number one, reach out to Matt and myself, but you can very much commit your dollars and wire money today. The deadline for wire transfers is September 6th. Okay, September 6th. This is obviously going to be well communicated to you over these coming weeks. Lastly, if you want to dive deeper into the detailed underwriting, it is in fact attached to the slide deck. We'd encourage you to take a long look at that. The returns are substantial. We feel this is a very, very unique opportunity and one that Matt and I will be investing in alongside you. We appreciate you. We take great ownership of some of these deals that we bring forth, and this one is no exception. So thank you much, Matt. Let's send it over.
Thank you, everybody. More to come. Look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome to Cortland Med Center, Lone Star Capital's latest investment opportunity. I'm Rob Beardsley, founder and principal, joined by Craig McGrother, our Director of Business Development.
Yeah, well, let's get right into this deal. We're here in the Medical Center of Houston. This is a beautiful 2003 vintage 344 unit property. How did we get this deal? What's the story?
So we actually just closed on Cortland Copperleaf, which is obviously the same owner, Cortland, as this property. So we were hanging around the hoop. We were able to successfully acquire Cortland Copperleaf a few months ago via the REIT structure, which was a complex deal, so not a lot of buyers are able to perform. Similarly, here, Cortland Med Center is also owned in a REIT structure, so they had a limited buyer pool of sophisticated, savvy buyers who were capable and willing to take on the complexity of the REIT transaction. So fortunately, when we performed for them on Copperleaf, they came right to us and gave us a great offer to buy this property as well, actually $2 million less than their previous offer.
And didn't you just move to that property?
Yeah, I actually just moved to Cortland Copperleaf. We renamed the property to Preserve at Copperleaf. So I've now moved down to Houston to focus on operations and the success of each of our investments.
Let's dive into Cortland Med Center's amazing location.
The property here benefits strongly from Houston's ongoing population and job growth. There's actually 326,000 jobs within a 5-mile radius and almost 1 million jobs within a 10-mile radius. Specifically, we also have the Texas Medical Center, which is the largest life sciences destination in the world with over 100,000 employees. And given that most of the land is occupied by TMC institutions, there is limited available land for development, which obviously mitigates the threat of new supply. And job growth here is sure to continue as there's over $3 billion in new projects underway, which are projected to create upwards of 40,000 new jobs.
Great. Now let's talk through the business plan.
We're acquiring Cortland Med Center for $50 million, which is $145,000 per unit. And we're actually partnering with the Houston Housing Authority on our 11th deal. We're going to be setting aside half of the units as income and rent restricted in exchange for a property tax exemption.
And this is my favorite type of deal. This is a socially responsible investment strategy.
This is my favorite type of deal as well because of the risk-adjusted return. We actually don't have to raise rents because of the rent restrictions, and yet we're still able to project mid-teens returns, value-add level returns, because of the property tax exemption. And because this investment has an affordable housing component, we're actually able to get better than market terms on our financing. We will be doing long-term fixed-rate debt with Freddie Mac.
The sellers have invested $7 million in the interior and exterior of this property, having it in immaculate shape.
This means that under our new ownership, we won't really have to do any crazy renovations or take risks in our business plan in order to achieve our returns. We've already done a full site inspection and we've budgeted accordingly to make sure that this property stays in great condition.
And what do you think the biggest risk is on the deal?
Well, considering the fact that we're using long-term modest leverage at a fixed rate and the business plan doesn't have risky renovations or trying to seek higher rents, really the risk comes with the property tax exemption. Fortunately for us, we have a fantastic relationship with the Houston Housing Authority. This will be our 11th project with them, and we actually own Meritage just down the street, which is under this same program, and that deal is performing fantastic for us and our investors. Furthermore, the property tax exemption will be 100% approved prior to closing, so investors take no risk on whether the property tax exemption goes through or not.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us here today at Cortland Med Center in Houston. If you would like to learn more about this investment opportunity or working with Lone Star Capital, please email me. We look forward to working with you on this deal.